What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. E3 is, for all intents and purposes, over. I finished watching the Nintendo E3 today and was mildly disappointed, I guess you could say. It wasn't, like, bad. It wasn't garbage. It wasn't the worst. But it was missing some very vital things. Yes, it had Breath of the Wild 2, but it's being pushed to 2022. I mean, I know not pushed. They never announced an official release date, but I think a lot of people were assuming that it would be ready sometime this year in 2021, and it's not. I guess you could partially blame COVID for that, or whatever excuses, whatever delays they've run into, but it just sucks that you have to wait another year for what looks to be one of the must-play best games ever type things, and good things will come to those who wait. And yes, I want them to delay it if it means they're going to make it as good as possible, which Nintendo always does. So I'm fine with that. It just kind of sucked. And I guess we'll get that stuff out of the way first. But before that, let's play the intro. JT. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell for notifications. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so Breath of the Wild 2 was the highlight of the show for most people, including myself. But beyond that, the biggest surprise for most people was Metroid 5. Metroid Dread. And it looks good. Like, I think when I first watched it, I was like, the graphics weren't really my jam, but a 2D Metroid, I'm all about it. I love those kind of games, the roots of the series. Going back to it, I can't get enough of those. I don't care what it looks like. The gameplay is where it's at. And the more I watched it, I've watched the trailer like 6 times now because I can't get enough of it. And the more I watch it, the more I'm like, the graphics aren't that bad. It's fine. It's fine. I shouldn't expect that much coming from the Switch, nor do I care that much about graphics in the first place, so who cares? The game looks fun. It looks interesting. It looks like something that I definitely want to be playing. Outside of that, there wasn't really that much. Maybe WarioWare? That looked interesting, especially the multiplayer aspect of it. I could play that with my kids and have fun with that. Mario Party All-Stars or whatever, didn't that get announced like a year ago or something? It's like it's finally coming out at some point. I was like, great, okay, I don't really care. The other big missing thing from the show was Metroid Prime 4 was a no-show. Like, they didn't even show any like screenshots of it still, and that's pretty disheartening because I think a lot of people thought maybe by now there'd be something to show. Not that people were expecting it to release this year, but at least show something. They didn't even do that. And I'm starting to think like Nintendo really took COVID more serious than most companies and like kind of quasi shut down for a while, or at least worked a skeleton crew in their main offices, because there's not anything huge coming directly from Nintendo that I'm super excited about in the near future outside of Metroid 5. Yes, there's other games coming out, but none of them really are my thing. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of people that like Danganronpa or whatever, and Persona 5 or what. Great. I didn't. That's not my thing. So, for the presentation for me was just kind of like I'm excited about Metroid. At least I have something to look forward to, in addition to Mario Golf, which we all knew about coming out later in June. So it wasn't terrible. It's a lot of waiting and a lot of things that we're missing. No updates on Splatoon 3 coming out next year. No updates on Pikmin 4, or if that's even happening still, even though it was supposed to come out like a decade ago. Like, it feels that way. Nothing. It's frustrating because there's so many games that I'm like waiting for and nothing. That's Nintendo though. The Zelda Game & Watch, I'll probably get it. coming with the Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening for Game Boy, and a Game & Watch Zelda game. Sure, I'll probably pick it up. I'll never play it, just like the Mario one. But it's a unique, cool little piece of history to hold in your hand, and I love that series so much that I'll probably get it, even though I'm not going to do anything with it. But that was it. As far as the rest of E3 is concerned, there wasn't really that much to report on. It was kind of like, meh. I went into E3 with very, very low expectations, so I'm not like disappointed, because I'm not expected to be blown away by anything, and I wasn't. I did enjoy, I know people are wondering my thoughts on the Intellivision E3. I enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job. I thought Tommy and the team put together a good presentation with interesting games that really sold the idea of the controller and interacting with couch co-op, and it's something unique and different. And I liked how GameSpot afterwards doing the discussion, how they kind of focused on that area about how it's a unique and different console that might appeal to a much broader audience than a lot of people are giving it credit for. And for that, I'm hopeful for the system. I think there's a lot of potential with that, but it's still not out yet. It's something that we're all waiting for. People, at least like me, that are excited about it, have to wait until, I believe, October. I don't know about the official date and if that's a solid date yet or not, but I hope they're able to hit it. But again, just like with Nintendo, it's more important to get it right than to rush it out. You don't want to pull a Sega Saturn and just release it when it's not ready and just have it fall flat on its face. The Microsoft presentation was kind of meh. I thought it was cool how they had so many games coming to Game Pass on day one. That was awesome. But there was nothing really from it that I was like blown away by, outside of Halo Infinite, that I'm very excited about and have been very excited about even before it got delayed, because people were bitching about the graphics of it. Yeah, the graphics weren't great, but I don't care. It's Halo. I don't look at Halo like the genre-defining graphical masterpiece. It's a very unique style, and I feel like they hit it the first time, but people complained about it, so it went back to the drawing board, and now we all have to wait for it again because people complained about it. So I don't know, I'm kind of bitter about that, but whatever, it is what it is. As far as the Ubisoft presentation is concerned, it was mostly blah, except for the sequel to Mario and Rabbids, which looks pretty awesome. I'm hopeful that they were able to fix the camera issues that plagued the first one. I did enjoy the first Mario and Rabbids a lot, but I feel like even when I reviewed it way back when it came out, I feel like the camera issues for a turn-based strategy game really held it back, because you couldn't really see the layout of the field to figure out where to go, and it was very limited on how to move the camera around. That I kept getting stuck on that. So hopefully the second one addresses that gigantic glaring issue, and if it does and builds upon the first one like it was looking like it did in the trailer, then big things are in store for that. But outside of Mario Rabbids sequel, Avatar looked okay, I guess, but probably not a game that I'd be picking up. It's not really a property that I'm really that interested in. But if it's one of those games that gets really good reviews, then I might check it out. That was it. No Sony at E3 this year, and nothing really else that caught my attention that I, at least off the top of my head, that I can think of right now. It's kind of like a very blah E3 this year. And I guess that was to be expected, like I said, with COVID slowing everything down and delaying everything and giving everyone a chance to hit up their games in their backlog. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. I'm still trying to get to games in my backlog right now. So as much as I bitch and moan about games not being ready right now, it's like, well, I still have Bravely Default 2 sealed. And I really want to play that game. I just don't have the time to play it. I haven't prioritized it yet in my life because there's just so many other things going on. I just got Game Builder Garage for the Switch, and that's a blast. Having a lot of fun. My son making games with it, having so much fun. Ratchet and Clank, PlayStation 5, awesome game. Not just graphically, but unique, fun, fast-paced, well-paced too. Like, it keeps a good variety of gameplay to keep you entertained the whole time through. So many fun games that I'm playing right now that I'm just kind of like, it's okay. It wasn't the E3 that completely blows everyone away, and that's fine. That's fine. We got plenty of games to play right now as it is, and I got plenty of games to look forward to, even if albeit a bit limited, we'll say. I would like to see Nintendo revisit Earthbound. I would like them to revisit Pikmin. I would like them to give an update on Metroid Prime 4. I would like to hear more about Bayonetta 3. I would like to hear about all these games that have been talked about until the end of time and then just seemingly forgotten about by Nintendo for whatever reason. Nintendo just being Nintendo. But again, plenty of games to play outside of the games that they keep kicking the can down the road forever anyways, so not the end of the world. That's my take on E3 2021. Not terrible, not great, somewhere in the middle. I'd say above average, but just barely. And that's being nice. But that's my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about E3 2021. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing. Smash,